Hi folks, Raspberry Pi 500 is amazing, but unlike Raspberry Pi 5, there is a number of hidden options that you have to uncover to use it efficiently. In the previous video, we have discussed some undocumented upgrades that you can do yourself. This time we're gonna continue with even more interesting upgrades. You probably know that you can power your Raspberry Pi 5 from the expansion port. But what about Raspberry Pi 500? Its expansion port is covered with a rubber cover, so we're gonna remove the cover and we're gonna try it. The next question is whether a USB-C port, in case of powering through expansion port success, would have behaved the same way as it is behaving on Raspberry Pi 5. What about analog audio output? Is it as easy to make it as on Raspberry Pi 5? Can we use one of the USB ports to simply plug in a USB sound card? It's Raspberry Pi 500 and about its expansion port. It's a very interesting thing. I wonder whether you can power your Raspberry Pi 500 through expansion port, and that's why I'm gonna remove this cover. This is a rubber cover, nothing special about it, and I have a complete Raspberry Pi 500 kit. So I've got a monitor, I've got a standard Raspberry Pi 500 power supply, I've got this amazing cable that can transfer data. It can also power the monitor. Its primary function is to power Raspberry Pi monitor, but today we are going to use it to transfer data. So why are we having this power supply? It's 40 watt. It's more powerful than this one. And it's a charger. It can charge, as you can see, a smartphone. I'm going to put my smartphone aside right now. I'm going to use this charger to power my Raspberry Pi 500. And now you are probably wondering what kind of a cable I'm going to use to power my Raspberry Pi 500 through the expansion port. Okay, this is a test. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But what is interesting here is we have two connectors. This is a standard USB 2.0 connector. It's got just ground and plus 5 volt connected. So I can plug it right here. So it's very simple. And the other end has also connected 2 pins for 5 volts and 2 pins for the ground. And we're going to connect this one to Raspberry Pi 5. What we're going to do right now is first plug in this cable. This cable is a little bit experimental, but I guess it should have worked because Raspberry Pi 500 is actually very much similar to a standard Raspberry Pi 5, so this contraction should work. So I have to be careful to align the pins. Here is pin 1, so I'm starting from pin 1. I'm plugging in this cable. We're going to see whether it works or not. Okay, we are in, so it's a great thing to have. So the next thing is that I'm going to plug this one in. So I've got it. So it's on. I can read the data from it. This is a real great thing. So in Raspberry Pi OS, everything seems to be working just perfectly. So I've got a session setup on it. So I use DVC2 driver, and I'll show it to you. You can see it now. So this DVC2 driver actually allows to use this USB-C port as a standard port, provided that you have power supply. So Raspberry Pi 500 in this regard works like any other Raspberry Pi. So, but what about Android? Does Android work too? So let's try. I'm going to use another cable to connect the Raspberry Pis together. I'm going to be running Android from this Raspberry Pi 500, and let me try it. We usually use to power the monitor. So what I'm going to do right now is to simply plug it into this Raspberry Pi like this. I'm going to plug it here. So I'm going to plug it. This Raspberry Pi is special because it's got a custom case, but Otherwise, it's just the old version of Raspberry Pi with the old chipset, but it doesn't really matter. It works with any kind of Raspberry Pi. So what we have here, this is Android 15. I've put this Android 15 on, so I'm gonna take Raspberry Pi OS out and I'm gonna start Android. The reason that I'm running Android on this computer is that it's much easier to show all the capabilities of sharing USB-C port, and also with Android Android is pre-installed to use the USB-C port as a peripheral port. This means that this Raspberry Pi 500 is going to be a peripheral to this Raspberry Pi. So this is very, very important to know actually. What I'm going to do right now is simply to plug in. So you have both Raspberry Pis connected, and what we expect right now, if the Android is set up correctly, I'm going to start it, is that somehow this Raspberry Pi is going to detect connection from the Raspberry Pi that's running Android. So Android has been preset to actually start a file connection. Another possible setting is to use the Android Raspberry Pi 500 to, as you can see here, it's already detected, and this one has also detected connection. And what we can do right now is nothing short of amazing. We can access the memory, so we can upload files, we can download files, as if this Raspberry Pi 500 was a smartphone. Look at this. I'm going to install ADB, so I'm going to be able to use ADB through a USB connection. So it's starting now, and look at this. I have the attached device. So there are other things that I can do actually. I can get, for example, I can read device ID through this connection. We're back to Android right now. I've managed to move this cable from this Raspberry Pi to this one, and as you can see, this Raspberry Pi is without Ethernet connection right now. So what we're gonna do right now is to go to Android Raspberry Pi, and we're going to set up tethering. So we're going here, and we're going to use USB tethering. So you see, okay, now I have this kind of configuration. I'm going to enable USB tethering here. This computer should have internet. We've got an internet address right away. You can see we have another internet connection, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to use sound card like this one here. It's a very small sound card. It's a USB sound card on Raspberry Pi. So as you can see, we have a Raspberry Pi USB project opened, and we have an analog audio device, an old radio that's used as an amplifier, so with the speakers. So
hi folks, this time it's going to be
you see it works very simple. So we have commands here, we have also audio input here. As you can see, it's USB PNP sound device, and you have also here USB PNP sound device. So as an unplugged as a device, I can plug it from one computer to another, and it also works on Raspberry Pi 500 as easily as it works there. So we can see here that we have two options, HDMI or USB PNP sound device. So that's it. Now you're probably wondering how an analog sound card works on Raspberry Pi 500. Let me show you.
Those two surprises. I've just got this Raspberry Pi 5 with 16 GB of RAM, which is truly amazing. Despite many Raspberry...
Thank you for watching. If you've liked the video, please press like and subscribe buttons, and don't forget about the notification bell. See you in the next video. Bye.